jobs. Mornings with Mo.
Good morning, everyone. It is May the 22nd, which means, well, we have survived the 21st. Youngest Most Feral is basking in his Roblox money. I have no idea. He is out murking and destroying. I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to explain it to me, and it's a lot like the glass lady yesterday. It's kind of like, oh, that is very interesting. I have no idea. You're right over my head. Good morning, Tammy Bogard. Thank you, Wolfram, for your modly mod duties. Good morning, Alice G. And I am so incredibly sorry, Super T. I went through this recently, and going down to your other comment, she had been a fighter, and my mother-in-law was battling with illness too, and it's so hard to let go because you know in your heart that they're tired of fighting, but you don't want them to leave because you're going to miss them, and you're like, oh gosh, that's so selfish, but you really want them to stay. And let's see here. Do, do, do. I am reading 80s Music Man, Neon Gamer, Star Z. Good morning. JKD Bug. Good morning, and thank you for your modly mod duties, as always. Jason JJ. And let's see, Stinger Bell, Granny Smith, Mad Hatter, Matt TOVT. No, look, it's gonna be a morning. My eyes are great. Kay and everyone, Linda Lou. Hopefully I got everyone, Mspire and Audio Coffee. So we have a lot of news because I don't have to rush off and you guys don't have to go to Karen Reed, which, speaking of that, we will have an impromptu and I will be wearing my patented translated Mighty Morphin Mormon wig. We will be doing a Petty Express on the Lori Vallow Dorkbell trial, the recent one. So I think we'll be still in day one, but definitely going to have fun with that one since I need a break from Karen Reed. Not going to lie, this whole long weekend is going to be awesome. Can work on the puppet head. We're going to Hobby Lobby today. So it's going to be awesome sauce. Kind of gonna excited for this long weekend, not going to lie. Well, speaking of people who probably wish they have a long weekend in their future, two women have been accused of helping the, 10 inmates escape prison. I think they're not going to get a break from that. Two women are facing charges of assisting 10 inmates to escape from a New Orleans jail, as 5 still remain on the run. Louisiana State Police released this information on Wednesday. Courtney Harris, 32, of New Orleans, and oh, for the love of all that is Cheetos, Fritos, and Frito-Lay pie, what in the name of all that is ungodliness? Corvante, Corvannantay. Listen, I try not to judge people, but who the hell gave this child that name? That being said, Corvante Baptiste, maybe it's French. Maybe it's French. 38 of Seidel were arrested on suspicion of being accessories after the fact to the escape on Friday morning from the New Orleans Parish Jail. They were booked into the, Pasquamades, look, something French and or Cajun Parish Detention Center in Louisiana State Prison. If convicted, they each face up to 5 years in prison. Now, Harris allegedly spoke by phone with one of the 5 that are still at large. Investigators said that Harris was in contact with the unidentified inmate before the jail break and drove 2 of the escapees to multiple locations around New Orleans. Law enforcement source told WVUE TV that she was assisting inmate Leo Tate. Now, the state agency said Baptiste was in contact by phone and social media, assisting Corey Boyd, who was captured Tuesday night in New Orleans. Now, Baptiste has also brought food to Boyd when he was hiding in a residence. Louisiana State Police said those who assist or conceal the escapees will be held accountable. Yeah, look, I am your friend until you make me a felon. Unless I am assisting in said felony of my own volition, then I'm your friend to the end, but I probably will not survive interrogation. So remind me right before they take me to plead the fifth. That being said, I have your back way back. On Monday night, a maintenance worker inside the jail was arrested after allegedly helping the inmates in their escape. If you remember from my newsy nugget, basically someone had to unscrew from a back sort of maintenance panel this bathroom mounting so they could get through the window and escape through this sort of maintenance corridor. Yeah, I mean, it's not like you were subtle, sir. It's not like you weakened the nuts or showed damage. You probably just unscrewed them. So yeah, you're kind of easy to find, even for Velma, the new Velma. So now Sterling Willings, 33, is accused of shutting off water to the cell where the inmates removed the toilet to breach the wall behind it. On Monday, Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office said 3 employees have been suspended. Now, the 10 inmates escaped through a broken door at the jail and breached the jail wall before scaling the fence and fleeing into a nearby neighborhood where they removed their prison suits. The jailbreak happened around 12:23 a.m. on Friday, but wasn't discovered until 8 hours later during a morning head count. So, just don't escape from jail and be an idiot and stay in the same town. I mean, you're going to have to shave your hair, start a new life, go live in Guam. So they are still looking for 5 of these people. Hopefully they find them. If you are in Louisiana, as always, Mama Mo says do not try to approach any of these gentlemen by yourself. If you see them, call, real law enforcement. That being said, I hope they get captured, and I hope no one is helping them because you're going to get captured too. I mean, that's all that I have to say about that. Well, if anything's going to trigger Final Form Jesus, this next story is, so here he is, to save a...
The G-Keep Grove, thou gloaming shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, Final Form Jesus return in wrath. With 6-pack glistening sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
Well, you know what? I respect higher education to a point, but I think if anything, enforces the concept that college is a scam, this next story will. Kim Kardashian has finally earned her law degree after 6 years. Well, God save us all. Next, I am live streaming the hell out of her first trial. Petty Express is 24 hours covering her first trial. Congratulations are in order to Kim Kardashian. The Skims founder took to her Instagram story on Wednesday to celebrate her graduation from law school after 6 years. All of you guys have been on this journey with me, she said in a speech during a private commencement ceremony hosted by family and friends. Who in the flowery hell has their own private, graduation ceremony with their own satin custom rose, mauve, robe? Who in the hell does this? I mean, I guess it's good to be a Kardashian. I've never watched it. I have been marked safe. I think I am the only Genlennial who has never watched an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Somehow I missed the plague. Oh my, who has their own plexiglass I give up. This is the ridiculousness of everything. Now, Kardashian is 44, and she explained that her desire to study law began after feeling dumbfounded watching a video on Twitter. Well, I'm sure many things dumbfound her, but in all honesty, I have never graduated college nor even tried to get a law degree. So, as much as I joke, she did something I didn't do, and it's an accomplishment. So, while I wish she wasn't such a just weird, freakishly need attention kind of person, it's an achievement. She can celebrate however she wants, and I can mock it however I want, because that's democracy. God, I hope she learned that we're not a democracy. Do they have civics classes in law school? Well, she'd probably be like, I'm not a civics lawyer. I'm going to be a criminal lawyer. Oh, good God. This is ridiculous. The reality star dolled up in a gray sweater, leather skirt, and black stockings with white pumps. Why do I care about this? Because I don't understand. The white pumps make no sense to me. Now, y'all, I have failed girl. Like, this makeup you see is a result of, this is as good as it's going to get, okay? If you want cat eyes or any dramatic eye makeup, I'm going to need an entire team of drag queens to come in here and teach me how to be a real girl. Because this is more makeup than I have ever put on in my life. So, that being said, I don't girl much, but the white shoes to me just don't match and I'm confused by them. That being said, I have failed girl, so maybe that's the new trend. Maybe I'm just completely off my, girl fashion sense. My spidey senses, I don't know. So there we go. She's got all of this redonkulousness going on because, of course. So, again, she beamed as one of her mentors called her law journey the most inspiring. 6 years ago, Kim Kardashian walked into this program with nothing but a fierce desire to fight for justice. No law school lectures, no ivory tower shortcuts, just determination, her mentor said. She went on to say that Kardashian dedicated 18 hours a week and 48 weeks a year for 6 years straight. Well, ma'am, I would like to say round of applause for beating Shannon Burgess. You are no longer pending. Congratulations for being marked safe from pending. You have gotten that degree. That is a total of 5,184 hours of legal study. That's time she carved out while raising 4 children. Okay, she also had to deal with Kanye West, so I'm going to give her a bigger round of applause because, look, Kanye, I don't know what's going on, but sweetheart, get help somewhere, and also you are Kanye West. Can you afford a full outfit for your wife? Look, I feel a little weird that I'm not married to the chick and I have seen her lady bits more than I have ever seen another female's lady bits in my life. And I would think as a husband, you wouldn't want people seeing her, Arby's, beef sandwich just hanging out there just for everyone to see. That being said, sweetheart, you need a little touch of Jesus, okay? I don't know what the hell is going on. I'm praying for you, but what in the name, again, don't care how crazy you get, but could you buy your wife a full outfit? Because I am tired. Look, I'm going to send you a cease and desist because if I have to see her lady lower lips one more damn time, I feel, where is my bad touch doll? Look, I'm going to show in the Hank Brennan. Look, you are going to make me look like angry Hank Brennan, and I can't deal with those wrinkles. So I'm sending a cease and desist. That being said, sorry about the rant, but I don't know who who is with me, but I have seen more of Kanye West's, nakedness, his wife just naked, than I ever wanted to see. So there you go. Kim Kardashian is a lawyer now. You know, this Matrix is fun. I hope they don't reset it. Kim Kardashian's, a lawyer. I'm, a streamer. I kind of like this reality. The absurd is fine with me. Expect to see her hosting a show on Court TV or Law and Crime in the very near future, or MTV or Bravo. But expect her to parlay this into a Judge Judy sort of thing. At least that's what I would do. That being said, she's Kim Kardashian. I'm a weirdo on the internet. I doubt she's going to listen and or talk to me, especially after I've made fun of her and her ex-husband for a good, 3 or 4 minutes. So there you go. And a heartwarming story, because sometimes we need a heartwarming story, and I'm going to be real honest with you guys. And this has shocked me because I am normally the stoic mom, like the mom that kind of points and laughs at the other moms that are crying their eyes out, like, sheesh, at least I'm not her. Well, I'm going to tell you that my oldest graduating has me turning into a total girl. Like, and I say that not as I have always been very jealous about people who can openly emote in public. Like, I can emote here because I'm in my room, but just will cry and, be okay. Just waking up and being okay, just being out there and crying like freely. Like, I have never been, it would bother me to all heck to be like that. But I've always found I'm like, it must be incredibly freeing to just have emotions and show them so easily, because they get stuck right about cheer. I don't know if anyone else has that, but they get stuck right about cheer. And then I'm like, no, we will save this till I get home and I can ugly cry. But that being said, it's got me in my feels, and I saw this story, and doggone it, these kiddos and this mom and this family deserve a little shout out. And sometimes we need good humanity stories, because I swear every time I look at stuff, I'm like, find good for humanity stories. And it's harder some days it's hard. Teen quadruplets born very prematurely are now heading off to college, a proud and emotional moment, mom says. Our dream for our children was just for them to be healthy children. So again, look, this hairstyle, can I just ask, why? Why is it coming back? Why? Like, just, and this, I cannot even explain. My oldest daughter's graduation is going to be full of this and this. And I'm going to have to sit here and not try to laugh. Also, look, 18-year-olds, unless you have a Tom Selekian mustache, do not have a mustache. You look like you are trying to star in Boogie Nights. Okay, very few 18-year-olds with this hairdo can pull off the porn stash. Just don't try it. It looks creepy, off-putting. You look kind of like you need to be, separated from schools. It is not the look that you think it is. So unless you can pull off like the full Selick, like you have a full and commanding jawline and, can pull off, booty shorts and a Hawaiian shirt, do not try it. You have not earned the Tom Selleck. Okay, just stop. Sorry, I am going to be squirreling all day. It has been raining for the full week, and I am just about done with rain. Preparing to watch her quadruplets graduate from high school this past weekend was a proud moment, Jennifer Martin says, and an emotional one. It's always special when you watch that child grow, the mom from Woodstock, Alabama says. But watching her foursome grow together at the same time has been even more powerful. Her 17-year-old sons, Aiden, Braden, and Tyler, And her daughter Emma graduated from West Bachton High School on Friday, May 16th. The milestone was especially important for their mom, Jennifer, 48, and their dad, Andy, 50, who were worried that the four wouldn't be healthy when they were born 17 years ago. As is standard for multiple pregnancies, the couple were warned that the, quadruplets could face health issues. Oh, they were such cute little. Look at those little chubby cheeks. Oh my goodness, it's making my ovaries explode. See, this is the trap. No, no, this is an Admiral Akbar trap. Because see, you go to a baby, homecoming or a thing like that, and you hold this cute little baby, and it's got the new baby smell and the chunky little cheek, and it's doing the little lip tuck in because they're deep asleep, and then you're like, and then your ovaries are like, we can help, because your brain, and see, doesn't your brain is an accomplice before and after the fact, because your brain makes you amnesia. You are like the forgetful man from Memento when you see a baby, because you forget those poop explosions, you forget all the crying, you forget having to tote a baby bag everywhere, you forget having to tote your boobs everywhere, you forget the morning sickness, the afternoon sickness, the huge, can't see your feet. You forget all of that because you're holding that little baby, and your ovaries are like, and your brain are like, we override everything. We will trick her. So, yeah, this is a trap. Admiral Akbar. You hold that baby, and when it starts crying, you hand it back to the mama, and then you fight against them hormones, because them hormones are going to get you. Especially now, I'm such a nerd. Like, it's not like I'm going to have an empty nest. It's not like I'm still not going to have 5 other children at home. But I'm over here like, my baby's leaving and I'm going to be an empty nester and I'm not going to have a baby anymore. She's my oldest. What is going on? Hormones. Would someone explain why my hormones are grieving like she's leaving, when she's not even leaving till the end of summer? Can someone make this make sense? I don't like all these feelings. Now, after going in and out of labor for 4 weeks, she delivered her babies at 28 weeks in September 2007. So that is still really, really early. I had my third daughter at 34 weeks, and she had to stay in the NICU for about 2 weeks. So that is incredibly early. And especially, back then. Every year, though, there are, medical things that are coming out that are helping with the. There are things that are helping, more and more premature babies. So it really is a miracle to me, because I know how tough, and my story isn't a patch on these parents' stories, but I know how incredibly devastating it is to see your baby hooked up to all of those things, and then to have to go back to the ward where you hear all the newborns crying, and your newborn isn't anywhere next to you. It is a whole kind of hell. And I get that. So I'm glad that this has a happy ending. And so many more people are getting happy endings. No, they're not, but I like neat and comfy. Like, I like to logic things. So what I kind of like to explain is I'm too type A to function and a chaos demon. So I have 2 personalities that are constantly at war, because the type A personality wants everything to make sense, while the chaos demon is a Sharknado with lasers, typhoon full of feelings, hormones, and ridiculousness. Also weird, squirrel thoughts. So it's a constant battle as to who's going to win. Because they were born prematurely, their weight ranged from 2.5 to 2.9 ounces. Now, I think that's wrong. I think they're going to say pounds, because she was at. The ounces seem wrong. Again, this might be the only thing I have expertise on, but babies are around 2 pounds at 28 weeks. They have the ounces wrong. Look, I'm just going to tell you, they weren't 2.5 ounces and 2.9 ounces. This is not Canton. That's not how this maths. Fortunately, though, after that detour of mine, they only faced a very short time in the neonatal intensive care unit and have been healthy ever since. Our dream was just for them to be healthy children, Jennifer said, and they've done really well, so we couldn't be more proud. The quadruplets are all very different from each other. Jennifer says they can be joking, serious, and shy. Tyler plays baseball, and his brothers are part of the high school football team, while Emma's the cheerleader and played softball for 3 years. Jennifer said her kids are very athletic and very competitive with each other, but they also have each other's back. Yeah, look, no one dated this girl. I feel so bad for her, because anyone who wanted to date her had to go through 3 brothers. So, if I were going to have quadruplets, that's how I would do it. 3 boys, 1 girl, no dating, ever. Ever. They might fight amongst themselves about, certain things, but they don't want anyone else to mess with their brother or sister. They're really protective amongst themselves, which is really cute. Oh, look at them. I wouldn't have pegged the short one for being in football. The 14s have all received a form of a scholarship and will live at home as they attend local colleges. Tyler is pursuing a nursing degree. Aiden wants to work in the automotive industry. Braden is planning on studying industrial electronics technology, and Emma dreams of becoming a medical sonographer. The Martin family is going to enjoy the summer together before all of the kids start school. So again, a feel-good story. Sometimes we need them. Now, I felt obliged to put this in as a Hoosier, but I'm going to remind you all that I know not one GD thing about sports ball. And the only thing I do know allegedly, and I do mean allegedly because it could be someone else, I think Mr. Irsay might have struggled with addiction in the past, but rest in peace, sir. I'm glad you bought the Colts. So was he the one that brought them from Baltimore? Let me get into the article because maybe it'll explain who Jim Irsay was, and I'll learn along with you. Longtime Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay has passed away at 65. Specifics as to his death are not known, though Irsay has dealt with various health issues in the recent years. The Colts say that Irsay passed away peacefully in his sleep on Wednesday afternoon. Jim's dedication and passion for the Indianapolis Colts, in addition to his generosity, commitment to community, and most importantly, his love for his family, were unsurpassed, the team said in a statement. Some of Jim's fondest memories come from his youth working training camps in Baltimore and growing relationships with players, coaches, and the staff whom he considered his extended family. Simply put, he wanted to make the world a better place, and that philosophy never wavered. Jim will be deeply missed by his family, the Colts organization, and fans everywhere. We can remain inspired by his caring. And thank you for In the Clouds 4 for becoming a member. And I need to show you guys the jar of the Shenanigans jar. You guys have been rocking it this year. And I actually had to get a bigger jar. We're going to need a bigger boat. So thank you for becoming a member of the Church of Mo. We have true crime, sarcasm, and dark chocolate. I mean, what more could you need? And I do try to do a morning's musings video that is for the first 24 hours for members, and then it's free for everyone. That way there's some member perks, but everyone, because look, I go grocery shopping. I have 6 kids. I know. and appreciate just you guys watching me and liking because it works with the computer magic algorithm. Hell, I don't even know. But I get it. I never want ramen noodle money, as Megan Fox says, only, your breadstick money. But I don't need that. Just, come by, hang out. I'm doing this. This is fun for me. I love doing this. And Kay, thank you for gifting a membership. And that went to Joe Schmo. So congratulations. Let's see here. My brain is, y'all, this rain has not been great. I don't know about anyone else who deals with joint or pain issues, but a full week of rain and I feel like my brain is fuzzy. And I know it's only Thursday, but tomorrow's graduation day and my brain just is like, graduation, she's gonna graduate, we made it. Which is, I am not taking credit for her accomplishment. What I mean by we made it. Look, this is just going to devolve into a story time if that's okay with y'all. We will try to get back to stories, but I do want to explain the we made it thing. So tomorrow I may be a bit off. We are still going to have mornings with Mo. This Saturday, we will not be having Legal Shenanigans Theater because I'll be hanging out with family coming in for the graduation. But we might do something Sunday. I feel the need for Petty Express. So we might do a Petty Express on Sunday. But what I mean about we made it, I haven't hidden it. I lost my first husband when I was 24, and my oldest daughter was 15 months old, and my middle daughter was 5 months old. And we lost our house too. And I don't remember those years very much. I wish I did. But there were many genuine moments those first years that I didn't know if we were going to get to this point. I mean, I know I talk about it a lot, but everyday real life miracles, that's what her graduating is to me. I didn't think we were going to get here, and we have gotten here, and she has become such an awesome, loving, caring, quiet, sensitive woman. And I had a part with her first chapters, and she's going to go on and she's going to write her entire story. And I get to be a part of that. But we made it through these first chapters. And honest to God, I tell her all the time, she's my beta test teen. She's been a dream teen. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, we made it. Because they hand you this little, squishy baby at the hospital. And then they send you home without instructions, and they expect you to teach this little lump of clay how to be a good person, speak English, potty train, not, walk into traffic, be a giving human, and possibly dangling participles. But honest to God, I had to look that up on Google whenever I would teach them. So, for all of you parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, people who have stepped into the lives of kiddos that are graduating this year, or, thank you so much. You have done, so much to get to this day. Take a little bit of the sunshine for yourself. I am going to be ugly crying. I give everyone full license to point, because when I cry, I don't know about y'all, but I tend to splotch out like Mr. Shannon Burgess, but not a full red. No, my body decides to do just little patches, so I look like a crying hysterical giraffe. But yeah, definitely take that moment, become a crying hysterical giraffe if you need to. And try to embarrass your kids for just a little bit longer while they're still in the nest. Play some 50 Cent, It's Getting Hot in Here, or do the electric slide. Now, I can't do that because I don't know it, but there you go. Let's get back to the story now. I am on full squirrel mode. Irsay took over the Colts officially in 1997 when he inherited them from his father. He was 37 at the time, though he first started as an executive with the franchise in 1984 when his dad, Robert Irsay, still owned the team. Robert first acquired the franchise in 1972 for about $12 million in a deal that essentially swapped his ownership of the LA Rams. He relocated the team from Baltimore to Indianapolis in the same year that Jim started working there. Why did I think it was like in the 60s that the Colts went from... Look, again, sports ball. Now ask me what year Futurama had a certain episode. I can pretty much tell you. Again, my font of ridiculous knowledge. Now, the Colts had several great runs under Irsay's watch, most notably during the 2006 campaign when quarterback Peyton Manning and head coach Tony Dungy led them to a Super Bowl win over the Chicago Bears. That was the team's first Super Bowl win since 1970. The Colts made it back to the Super Bowl 3 seasons later before falling to New Orleans Saints in that contest. Now, Irsay oversaw the transition to Lucas Oil Stadium, where the Colts moved in 2008, and that stadium has become a staple in sports, holding events like the Super Bowl and the Big Ten Championship. Okay, but did he build it? I mean, did he? Okay. Now, Irsay struggled with not street legal pharmaceuticals and booze for most of his life, and he was very open about it. He checked into a rehab center in 2014 after an arrest on driving under the influence charges and possession charges, which was one of the 15 times in his life he had been to rehab. He also revealed in 2023 that a past overdose had stopped his breathing and almost killed him. He was found unresponsive in his home December 2023 of a suspected OD. So I do believe when I still watch local news, this was sort of common knowledge. Now, Irsay's public appearances dwindled after that. The Colts revealed in January 2024 that he was battling a severe respiratory illness after he hadn't been seen in public for weeks. Amid his struggles, the Irsay family has donated more than $25 million in recent years to organizations dedicated to mental health and addiction work. Irsay was also an avid collector. He purchased plenty of rare items for his collection, like an Elton John piano and classic guitars to Muhammad Ali's championship belt. He collected more than 500 items, even drew an offer from a bidder in the Middle East for more than $1 billion. Okay, I mean, look, he is survived by 3 daughters, his ex-wife, the mother of his children, Meg Cole, and 10 grandchildren. So other than that, I think that, having lost someone to addiction, it is terribly sad to see someone struggle so greatly, want something so greatly, and not being able to achieve it. Or maybe he was able to achieve it, and addiction is really hard on your body. I'm actually shocked that he was able to come back from an OD twice because it's just incredibly hard on your body. I can't imagine what his family are feeling, and I hope they're getting all the support and love and privacy to grieve however they need to grieve, outside of the public eye. Now, for the part that we all wait for, because let's be real, some days we all wish that Lord Chippy was not a fig Newton of my imagination, but a real, not in Minecraft thing. So let's get him, because we've got some people he needs to meet. And there's one case where he might need to meet him again and final form Jesus, because just know, these people are crap spackle-tastic.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your flames. Chippy's coming and he don't play games.
Alrighty, you guys, we are starting with this incredible douche. And you guys, I don't put a lot of stock in the Victorian era sort of, medicine slash wizardry, but I think we need to bring back phrenology. So they used to could believe that, they could touch people's heads and based on where you had divots and bumps, would explain, how your personality was. And there was something called a criminal head shape. And I don't know about you. I can't, I'm not a doctor or a phrenologist, so I can't diagnose. But I mean, you put this man in like a bunch of things and then ask me if those, you Photoshop this photo onto different backgrounds and ask me, is that a mug shot? I'm going to pick a mug shot out like every day of the week. And by the looks of this man, he's had a plenty. He could have a whole gallery. But this incredible boil on the butt of humanity, this man who, again, threw away the greatest treasure you can have in life, children, a legacy, a future. Again, you are planting a tree under whose shade you will never sit. It's the most, leap of faith thing you can do to have a child. Even if you don't think of it deeply like that, to think that, you can have a child and send them out to the world to make it a better place. And this absolute douche canoe, people just, some of them need to be sent to Greenland and participate in Hunger Games or Snake Island. Again, Trump. Look, I don't care if you rename, Mount Rushmore, Mountain Dew. Could you buy Snake Island? Can we send these douches there? Can you write an executive order just for me a person in America? I'll start a petition. And when, the UN cries, just say, this ain't Geneva. That's my tagline for 2028. This ain't Geneva. A father says ex-girlfriend, quote unquote, drove him to unalive his 5-year-old daughter, sent her foaming at the mouth photo after. Look, I don't know if these little speckles are from Gen Pop Justice, but allegedly in Minecraft, if the prison happens to take care of this person, I'ma be okay with it, all right? And of course, this incredible douche canoe is from my home state. Lord help me. Lord, tiny baby Jesus, please help me from getting in my car and earning myself an orange jumpsuit. As you know, tiny baby Jesus, I dye my hair red, so I simply don't look good in orange. Please give me self-control because I'm about to get, this makes me feel stabular. An Indiana father who called 911 and told them that his daughter was lifeless after, quote unquote, falling down the stairs has now been charged with murder after cops discovered he allegedly laid his hands on his child, his own freaking child, on her neck and took the life from the 5-year-old during a fight with his ex-girlfriend, claiming, quote, she drove him to it. Okay, well, let's look at this, Skippy.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
You know what your problem is that you're not a toddler, because that logic makes sense when you're a flippin' flapjack toddler and someone takes your block, so you take their block. You know what it doesn't, equate with when you're an adult? Because you're an adult and you can have, again, what is the golden rule in the Church of Mo? In fact, one of the few commandments that we enforce is that whatever bullshit you are going through, no matter how bad your day is, no matter how bad your pain is, and God knows I struggle with this on days, so I am not preaching stuff that I don't practice and try to count to 10 on. But no matter how bad your pain is, no matter how it's throbbing, no matter your leg, and not anything else, still self-control. That being said, no matter what, God or the universe or the spaghetti monster, or whatever the hell you are going through, never gives you the right to take your bullshit, all of your crap in your life, and dump it on someone else. Because everyone has their own sack of crap that they're holding, and you don't know if someone is, handling 20 pounds of crap stuffed into a 10-pound sack. You don't know. So you try not to be an asshole, because yeah, you might be living in a circle of suck right now, but you sure as hell know that it feels like crap to be treated like crap. So you're not going to add to the circle of suck, because that's what you do when you're an adult. When you're an adult, you have a bad day. You go in your car, you listen to, anything but, let's see, oh God, Nickelback, which will increase your rage. Give some deuces to, fake people in your car. You go back and you're not an asshole to people. Nothing that happened in your life gives you a license to be a dick to other people. I don't know why this is so hard. Zachary Arnold, 41, is accused of taking the life of his precious daughter named Zara Arnold inside his East Indianapolis home on Monday morning. Now, authorities say that when they went to the residence at 11 a.m., they unfortunately had to pronounce Zara at the scene. And let me take a moment here. I know not everyone agrees with cops. I know there are bad apples, but rank and file. These are people that go into these scenes every day, and I can tell you it would destroy me. So thank you to the first responders who go in knowing that maybe it's a lost cause, but giving their all to try to help people. Thank you to the officers who bring these a-holes to justice. And thank you to most prosecutors, not you, Proctor, or you, Lolly, who bring justice correctly and within the bounds of ethics and integrity. Yes, I know that word, Buchanan, you do not. Now, when they were done trying to help her and obviously started looking at the body a little closer, there were signs of trauma that were on her body, according to the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. I am heartbroken by the tragic loss of 5-year-old Zara, wrote IMPD Chief Chris Bailey to an extra post on Tuesday. No child should suffer such harm, especially in a place that should be safe for them, their home. Court documents obtained by local CW affiliate Wish TV and NBC affiliate WTHR detailed how Arnold was allegedly arguing with his ex-girlfriend, who spoke to the police. Hey, Jedi Jess, if you're in here, if you could pull documents for this case, this is going to break my heart. This is going to piss me off and increase my blood pressure. But this is in my backyard, and if it's going to be televised at all, I'll keep up with this case. This man deserves all the fucking Petty Express, and I am here to deliver, because I have yeah. So please, if you get a chance, I know it's a crazy time. No, it's actually funny. Usually I have a low blood pressure. So usually I'm like, let's see, usually 100 over 70. It can go 90 over 60. Well, I won't go to the court, but I will stream it. Generally, courts have pew-like seats, and I'm finding that I have to be very careful with the chairs that I sit in now that both legs seem to be involved. So I probably won't go to the court. Also, this is in Marion County, so this is going to be in Indianapolis. This is going to be the busiest courthouse ever, and it's a lot of people, and I can stream it if I can. I mean, that's kind of, look, y'all know I'm an indoor cat. You told me I have to go on the freeway and downtown. I am already saying RSVP no to this. Court. Look, I say court. I don't know. Court and look, it's a quirk. Okay, so allegedly he was arguing with his ex-girlfriend who spoke to police about everything in the days leading up to Zara's death. He had allegedly lashed out and taken it out on Zara, documents say, and then he told his ex-girlfriend that, she wasn't following his rules, that he was going to, unalive her, then hurt her. The ex told the police about Arnold's accusations and, feelings toward his daughter. When police spoke to Arnold, he allegedly admitted that Zara did not fall down the stairs. Now, God bless these police, because I hear this. Look, I have watched Dirty Harry, and I am okay with phone booking a suspect. Look, there is a reason I didn't sign up to be a police person. There is a reason that I cannot be a judge, because I am a fan of table flipping Jesus. Look, not turn the other cheek. I'm gonna curl these four fingers up, okay? That being said, I know that's not the way you're supposed to be. Please follow Steve Gosney for the way you're supposed to be. I am that I'm that devil on your, other side of your shoulder that's saying, I'd backhand him too, allegedly in Minecraft. That being said, I would go full Dirty Harry on once I heard I could not do kid cases. God bless the officers that do kid cases, that have to see the grossest, most disgusting things, because honestly, I could not. He alleged that after, throttling her, Zara had asked him slowly and never-ending pain. Look, and I would... This baby looking into the eyes of this monster and asking, Daddy, why are you hurting me? Send him to the fucking center of the sun. Don't waste time giving him a trial. We need to be done with him. Humanity does not need him. We have plenty of people converting oxygen into carbon dioxide. The trees will be okay. Allegedly in Minecraft. I'm gonna need to get off this story, because no, just no. Now, in another story that will make you mad, but not as mad as that one. You're fine. Paramedic downplayed giving father a lethal dose of the wrong medication, then told him night night as he went unconscious. There is nothing more, and you don't get it until you get it, but there is nothing more than an more pissed, more irritating, more dehumanizing, more, again, just feeding into the defeat feeling than having, a chronic condition, a condition of any kind, and dealing with a condescending dick doctor. Now, I know that, not on a tangent again, I know that doctor from Karen Reed yesterday, Dr. Wolf, human Yoda, is a magnificent, neurosurgeon, and he probably does incredibly complex cases, but that is the type of doctor that will not listen to you. That is the type of doctor that has already gotten a diagnosis, that will not listen, will not pay attention. He is the worst doctor to have if you have chronic pain or chronic issues, because he doesn't listen. He makes up his own mind, and dehumanizing. Again, he definitely huffs his own farts, allegedly in Minecraft. Don't come after me, Mr. Wolf. Look, you came off as an utter douche, a condescending douche. Now, I get it, you're a surgeon, and that's generally, again, hotshot surgeons tend to get white lab, God complex, which is, I guess it must feel wonderful to think that you're God. I don't know. I question my choices all the time. Gosh, what would it be like to have that personality, to never effing question one thing you did because you thought you were right all the time? Holy crap, do you know the amount of guilt I have? And every mom will tell you, moms, if we could have that, I have done everything right just for a day, to just live without the mountain of mom guilt that we always have for just, an hour. what would it be like? Would I stand straighter? Would my boobs go back? Well, my boobs probably wouldn't go back to where they were when they were 18, but I mean, miracles do happen, even out of Lenten season. But I have made fun of the new pope already, so I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get any like magical pope, new pope powers. Although that would be cool. Like, you want to get me back into Catholicism? Like, every time a new pope gets elected, you get a new superpower? That would be awesome. I would like the superpower of remembering why I went into a room. That being said, let's get back to this. An Iowa father of two died, unfortunately and horrifically, being held down and injected with the wrong medication by a paramedic who knew that he needed immediate attention to survive, but informed no one. Ma'am, move to Canton. This kind of behavior is not acceptable by first responders outside of Canton. But failed to inform anyone and took no action, according to a lawsuit filed by the man's family. Quote, "You're not going to die, you're fine," said EMT Deanna Lemire to James Foster Jr., 26, of Sioux City, after he was gasping for air, telling her, "I can't breathe," following the alleged medication error according to his family's complaint. Now, as previously reported on Law and Crime, Lemire is accused of giving Foster a lethal dose of recurnium instead of ketamine after responding to a report of a man lying in the street. Now, recurnium is a dangerous paralytic agent that induces muscle paralysis, according to the complaint. So instead of a pain or a slight so ketamine somewhat puts you in a sort of calm state and relaxes your muscles. For the record, on the record, as per Daryl Brooks, with CRPS, ketamine infusions are a thing. I have tried them. It is very hard to explain how you feel when you have them. It's a very disassociative sort of thing. I remember feeling kind of like I was at a train station, even though I knew where I was. You're tracking, but you're not, is the only way I can explain it. And it's a very odd, disorienting feeling. So I don't know why people would do it for fun, but maybe I like my world to make sense. So being weirded out doesn't, make sense to me. So that being said, basically, instead of giving him a slight muscle relaxant and maybe something to calm him and to do something else, she gave him something that would stop his breathing. Now, according to the complaint and the Journal of Emergency Medical Services, Lemire is now facing involuntary manslaughter charges for Foster's death and has pled not guilty. Foster's family paints an extremely chilling timeline of what allegedly occurred that day. August 18th, 2023, in their lawsuit, noting how Lemire even went so far as to tell Foster night-night after he passed out because of the paralytic, per the complaint. They are now suing both the city of Sioux City and Lemire and local officials. Now, Lemire and the Sioux City Police arrived just before 4 a.m. on August 18th, 2023, according to the complaint. Foster's family said he had told them that he suffered an arm injury. Lemire and other first responders allegedly reported that Foster's behavior warranted a chemical restraint, so they tried to administer ketamine. Now, you will remember that there were two paramedics that I believe were charged with manslaughter for administering too much ketamine, a lethal amount of ketamine, for excited delirium. So these are powerful drugs. You have to be monitored. The fact that my infusions cost so much because I was constantly monitored, hooked up to both a pulse ox and a heart monitor with, I believe, 6 leads. And they were going to stop the treatment when my heart rate went started to hover at 60. 60 was their cutoff. I mean, these are powerful, powerful drugs. They should not be played with. They are not, and again, if EMTs do not have the training to be able to administer these drugs safely, they shouldn't be allowed to. How many times do we have to learn the same lesson? And I'm not putting down EMTs. They're on the spot trying to do complex titrating, equations, because you have to take in, age, possibly, or gender, race sometimes, and different thing. A heart rate of 60 isn't bad. They just didn't want to, or maybe it was 50. To be fair, I was not paying attention, and Mr. Moe told me either 50 or 60 when I wasn't quite tracking. So in true Cantonese form, Canton, Massachusetts Cantonese, it's a range between 50 and 20. They didn't want me going below, and I was getting right there. So again, this is not something that, if you are not able to do those calculations in a high intensity role, we should be giving these EMTs leeway to do this. Now, I realize that opens another can of worms. What are you going to do with unruly patients? I don't know. I'm just saying ketamine isn't the way to go if y'all can't titrate it right. All right, it should be kicking in now, Lemire allegedly told Foster. After a few moments, Foster immediately began to struggle to breathe. He audibly started gasping for air and asked, "Am I going to die?" according to his family. Mr. Foster began to cry, repeatedly stating the unfortunately all too familiar refrain that he could not breathe. Okay, but if you're screaming, "I can't breathe," as the cops are, handcuffing you while you're standing up, there's a little bit of a difference between crying wolf and this gentleman who was actually having his diaphragm paralyzed. The defendant, Lemire, realized she had given an incorrect and life-threatening medication, but she did not notify anyone, nor did she take action to protect his airway and or intubate him before he became paralyzed and unable to breathe. Foster's family stated that his breathing deteriorated almost immediately. He began to gasp and wheeze for air, clearly and audibly as visible on body cam footage, according to the complaint. Now, Lemire and officers on the scene allegedly ignored what was going on and instead subdued Foster, who was now chemically incapacitated, with handcuffs before strapping him to a gurney. Shortly after he was taken from the scene by ambulance, Mr. Foster lost the ability to breathe due to chemical paralysis, and he went into cardiac arrest with an unprotected airway. This arrest would deprive his brain of oxygen, and unfortunately he passed days later after it was there was confirmation that his brain had died. So the surgeon was correct, the neurosurgeon, Dr. Yoda, that, they cannot declare you brain dead until really the stem of the brain, the part of the brain that is responsible for your heartbeat, your breathing, your autonomic systems, is completely deteriorated. After that happens, there is no coming back. Unfortunately, there really is coming back from very severe issues. So he died of an anoxic brain injury. So anoxic, an just means without, and oxic means oxygen. So just a lack of oxygen to the brain. A lot of these words, look, I'm not a doctorologist, but I will tell you, if you have a chronic health issue, getting a medical terminology book, like even a coloring book, with some of these words, once you demystify sort of the, prefixes, the suffixes, and some of the Latin, all of those big scary words will make more sense. They won't seem so crazy, and you can kind of understand what the doctor is saying a lot easier. At least it has been for me to brush up on my medical terminology from when I first learned it. It really is helpful. But it's not for everyone. You don't have to. I just know if you take the mystery, the scary out of something, it helps a lot, at least for me. In Foster's obituary, it describes him as an Iowa father who was so full of love, life, and was always polite, and it adds that he loved his girls Peyton and Lakota and their mother Kinsey. So again, this does seem like a failure to act, a failure to do her duty when you have these positions of responsibility, of care, of service, you're held to a higher standard. And this is definitely a negligent, at least in fairness, at least in the way the family has presented this, with the facts that the family has chosen to present, because there are always two sides and she is considered innocent. I have to look, it's easy to remember this with her because while I'm still mad, it's not a kiddo, even though I'm pissed off for the kiddos that now don't have their dad. Now, that first jackass, throw him into the center of the sun after, you know, look, I saw Hostel once and I was watching it like this and I was like, oh God, no. So I say whatever I peeked through my eyes and saw on Hostel, I allegedly in Minecraft, if every single daggone thing that happened in Hostel happened to this dude, I would shed, not this dude. This dude, if every single thing that, you know, that Saw and Hostel and, you know, weirdos who like those movies, no offense, look, I try to understand that different strokes for different folks, but the torture porn horror, just ew. Now, in a story that's going to bring back your faith in humanity, even though it is sort of bittersweet, we need a little palate cleanser after these two douches. The one is a mega thunder twat, and the other one is just an idiot who doesn't know how to give the right medication and is a jackass. These two, I'm not sure couple goals, but definitely the strength of their relationship and weathering storms. It's a story and, you know, definitely something that we can all learn from. I know that there have been terribly severe storms this past week. I haven't wanted to, you know, focus on all the death and destruction, but, and absolutely, you are going to rock this. If you need a reference, just put down Mo and tell him to slide into my DMs. And I'll say, Slinky is awesome. They laugh at all my jokes. I don't want to misgender because I'm not sure what gender a Slinky would be other than Slinky. That's terrible, as Val would say, but apropos and darkly hilarious. A couple loses arms while hunkering down in a tornado. They were holding on to each other. So this cute couple right here weathered a great big storm. A couple have both lost an arm as they were sheltering inside their Kentucky home as it was devastated by a tornado last week, according to their relatives. The doctors said that they lost opposite arms and it's because they were holding on to each other. Brandy Bowman told NBC affiliate WLEX about her uncle and aunt, Paul and Gail Klein, who are both in their 60s from Laurel County. Now, Bowman said that Paul and Gail were in their bedroom when the twister touched down on Friday, May 16th. A neighbor heard the couple screaming for help and arrived at their house and pulled them into a hallway. The family said the person heard Gail scream while they were searching for survivors in the neighborhood. She said, I need help, and I see an arm down the hallway, Bowman recalled, which turned out to be Gail's damaged arm as a result of the tornado. And this is a picture of what their house looked like. So while they may have lost an arm, it is just a miracle that they are both here and they can both help each other. I mean, there is kind of a disconnect when, and I don't wish that they were hurt, don't get me wrong, but to have someone who knows exactly what you're going through, your struggles, I hope they can both be support and vent partners for each other as they learn to navigate life with, you know, one arm and possibly a prosthetic. The Kleins were taken to London Hospital, WLEX reported. In a GoFundMe established by the family, Gail, who also has a punctured lung due to fragments in her ribs, is on life support. Their homes, vehicles, and everything they've worked for is gone. Taylor Baker, the couple's other niece, wrote about her aunt and uncle in a fundraiser description. They're two of the best people you could ever find. My aunt's daughter, oh my gosh. My aunt's daughter also has stage 4 cancer, so they're already battling that before this hit. They'll need all the prayers and help they can get. I hope that the entire town is, or people that still have a house, are working on like casserole trains out the yin yang. Y'all, I would be making funeral potatoes for everyone so everyone could be fed. It's my love language. I will feed you until you explode. I'll be like, are you still hungry? Are you still a little peckish? I can whip you up something. I used to be, before my legs hurt all the time. I used to be, now I'm like, I can call you a DoorDash. That being said, I would like to get back to, let me cook for you. We can't get out of our heads just how terrified they both were. I can't imagine the fear of what was going through their mind, but there's one thing about them, they're good people. Unfortunately, 19 people lost their lives in Kentucky following the storms that hit Friday evening, with the majority of the victims being from Laurel County, the Associated Press reported. The National Weather Service characterized the tornado that hit London, Kentucky in Laurel County as an F4 described as violent. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear declared a state of emergency ahead of the storm. In a Sunday, May 8th Facebook post, Baker offered gratitude to the community for their help. To my friends that showed up with trucks and trailers and drinks and who are ready to help in any way they can, I will never be able to explain to you what that means to me. To the strangers who dropped food and drinks, and y'all, this is what I love. Whenever I get too, black-pilled, too down, I get, I do too many Lord Chippy videos in a row. I like these stories because no matter how bad it gets, towards the end of the story, you see all these everyday, ordinary people who in that moment are heroes, dropping off food, doing things when asked, showing up during your darkest day. I don't care what people say. You are a daggone hero. Cooking, making sure people have food and clothes. To those people, you're a hero that day. And, things go on in the world. People are crap spackles. Some people are just dill holes. But a majority of us are nice people who would do anything to help, who see a problem and show up with, funeral potatoes and kind words and, try to help. It's happening. That's the real world. The news, yeah, it happens. It's out there. We're stuck on a 24-hour cycle, so we're constantly fed, terror porn and war and divide. And look, I do Lord Chippy. I'm not even going to say I'm not throwing a stone into crazy. But at the end of the day, let's remember that regardless of most things, at the end of the day, people show up. And people put it together and communities come together. And, just like Joplin, they rebuild, they work together, they come together. And that's the beauty of this absurd, crazy world. No matter how much absurd you throw at most people, no matter how crazy it gets, no matter, Sharknado or Kim Kardashian getting the bar. When ish happens, regular, ordinary people show up, first responders show up, and Petty Express is going to show up this afternoon. I'm getting better at this grifting thing, though it's a weird segue. Thank you, as always, for spending your time, your morning, choosing to spend it with me. I appreciate it. I pull these stories because they're interesting or, topical, and then I get to go look at all the absurd, which is my favorite thing to do in the morning. And then I get to share it with you because if it intrigues me, I think it'll intrigue you guys. So please do all the YouTube things. If you know a friend that needs a, semi-friendly, family-friendly, morning news pick-me-up, let them in to the Church of Mo. As always, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a can of bitch fire and a sassy mouth, because kindness doesn't equal doormat. I'm going to catch you guys later at 1 o'clock for the Petty Express. I will be wearing my super glamorous Lori, wig to see if I too can become a translated being. Here's hoping for Mo, the mighty Morphin Power Mormon. I'm out, you guys.